escape the expertise trap. A leader I coached was spending every Friday afternoon sitting down with her underperformers, going through their work, getting it back on track before the end of the week. Hours every single Friday. I told her, you're training them that less effort is okay. They're doing the minimum and then you bail them out. Next Friday, same thing. Week after, same thing, and so on. The word I used was codependency, and that hit her differently than delegation problem, because delegation sounds like a skill gap. Codependency sounds like what it actually is, a relationship pattern that's serving a need in both people. For her, the rescue gave her purpose. For them, it removed accountability. Both sides were getting something out of it, but neither side was growing. So I gave her a framework and she stopped doing the Friday rescue. And guess what? Nothing fell apart. Her team actually started performing because they had to. And she got her Fridays back for work that actually belonged at her altitude. If you're recognizing yourself in the expertise trap, the fixer, the firefighter, the person everyone depends on, there are 4 tools that I use with leaders to break this pattern. First, the guilt, obligation, and spite rule. Before you take on any task, run it through this filter. Am I doing this out of guilt, obligation, spite? If the answer to any of these is yes, put it down. It's the wrong motivation and possibly the wrong task. And I'm serious about the spite one. I've worked with people who do work specifically because someone else said they couldn't handle it, or because a peer tried to take it from them and they dug in out of a territorial instinct. That's not strategy. That's ego driving the bus. I gave this filter to a client who was overextending herself for a stakeholder who never acknowledged her contributions. She decided the answer was obligation. She stopped doing it, and the stakeholder didn't even notice. That tells you everything about what the work was actually doing for her career. Second, the replaceability audit. List every recurring responsibility that you have. For each one, ask 2 questions. Could someone on my team do this at 70% of my level with some coaching? And do I gain anything from doing it other than it getting done? If yes to the first one and no to the second, that's a delegation candidate, full stop. Even if you enjoy it, especially if you enjoy it, because that enjoyment is the hook that keeps you operating at the wrong altitude. If you're trying to keep something that you enjoy that someone else could handle, be honest that it's a hobby. It doesn't get your best hours and it doesn't block your team from learning. Third, the visibility expansion. Once you've freed up capacity through delegation, invest that time in work that expands how people think of you. Volunteer for something cross-functional. Offer a perspective in a meeting outside your core domain. Build a relationship with someone in a different part of the organization. The goal is to give people a reason to think of you beyond your expertise. You want them to think, she's really great at operations, and she also has a really interesting perspective on our go-to-market strategy. That "and" is the difference between being stuck and being considered. Fourth, the bench test. For your strongest team members, start expanding their world. Bring them to meetings they normally wouldn't attend. Let them present work you'd normally present. Give them visibility to your peers and your leadership. Not all at once, gradually. You're not dumping work on them. You're expanding their operating altitude. And in doing so, you're building the bench that makes your own advancement possible. Because the day your boss thinks, who would run this team, and there's an obvious answer, that's the day the door to your cage opens. You don't escape the expertise trap by working harder at what you've already known. You escape it by becoming known for something more. Which of these 4 would change the most for you?